completion of degree programs, students should be able to do something. I will point out these things in my discussion. These are the two main aims of my discussion. And I also have intended learning outcomes in this discussion. At the end of my discussion or this lecture, you will be able to understand the nature of Pali studies in Sri Lankan university system. That is one thing that you can achieve through this lecture. And the other one is you will be able to recognize and analyze the scope, aims and ILOs of our Pali major degree programs in our Sri Lankan universities. This is my outcomes of the presentation. As an introduction to my lecture, I would like to highlight some things in traditional and modern point of view regarding the Pali language. Traditionally, we believe that Pali is a Middle Indo-Aryan language belong to Prakrit group. It belonged to 6th century BCE. It is the language of many of earliest extant Buddhist scriptures as collected in the Pali canon. This is actually, as we believe, Pali language is the language of the canon. Canon is the Tipitaka. Then Pali as a Middle Indo-Aryan language is different from Sanskrit. Actually, Buddha's teachings have been preserved by two major languages. The Pali is the more historic one and the Sanskrit is the other one. But some of Buddhists are not believe that Sanskrit as a Buddhist language. Sanskrit belonged to Brahmanic tradition at the beginning, but in later period Sanskrit took place to write Buddhism also. I'll show you one example for that. All we know the Dhammapada, Pali Dhammapada. There are some non-Pali versions of the Dhammapada. Gandhari Dhammapada written in Gandharian Prakrit. Then Kharoshti Dhammapada is written in Kharoshtian letters, belong to Prakrit group. And Patna Dhammapada is Buddhist hybrid Sanskrit Dhammapada. We have another pure Sanskrit Dhammapada which has named as Udana Varga. And also there is Chinese translation of the Dhammapada. It is called Chinese Dhammapada. Now imagine that Dhammapada exists in different languages. Bhikkhu Ananda Jyoti has edited the Dhammapada in different languages. The title of the text is Comparative Edition of the Dhammapada. I saw that book in Ketumati Center of Sitagu 2-3 days ago in its library. Therefore, Sanskrit has used as a Buddhist language. But Pali is different from Sanskrit, not only with regard to the time of its origin, but as to its dialectical base, since a number of its morphological and lexical features betray the fact that it is not a direct continuation of Rigvedic Sanskrit. Rather, it descends from a dialect or number of dialects that were, despite many similarities, different from Rigvedic. Rigvedic Sanskrit is the ancient Sanskrit language, but Pali is also belong to that period. Therefore, linguistically, we believe that Pali and Sanskrit languages are sister languages. Don't believe that Pali has derived from majorly Sanskrit. It is wrong. One Indian scholar has written a book under the title of Pali is Mother of Sanskrit. He believed that Pali is mother of Sanskrit language. Therefore, Pali has not directly derived from Sanskrit language. It belongs to sister level of Sanskrit language in the linguistic history. Therefore, Pali is a historic language which goes back to Vedic period. At that time, it was named as Magadhi language. There are two types of Magadhi languages, Shuddha Magadhi language and Ardha Magadhi language. After the enlightenment, the Buddha selected Magadhi language as his language for his Dhamma preachings. As we know, Nigantanatha Putta, one of contemporary leader of Jaina tradition to the Buddha, selected Ardha Magadhi language for his teachings. These two are very ancient languages. Therefore, we need this background to learn something about Pali language. Many Theravada sources refers to the Pali language as Magadhan or the language of Magadha. For the first time, Venerable Buddhaghosa has stated that Magadhi language as the Buddha's mother tongue, while interpreting one statement in the Chullavagga Pali, in the Kuddakavattu Khandaka of the Chullavagga Pali, which says as Buddha allowed to study his own teachings with Sakaya Nirutti, Anujanami Bhikkave Sakaya Niruttiya Buddha Vachanang Pariya Punitum. By interpreting the term Sakaya Nirutti, Venerable Buddhaghosa in his Vinaya commentary, Samanta Pasadika, says this, Etta Sakaya Nirutti Nama Samma Sambuddhena Vuttapakaro Magadako Voharo. Here, Sakaya Nirutti means the Magadhi language that spoken by the Buddha himself. This is the first time where we can see Magadhi language as Buddha's mother tongue. This is traditional belief of Theravadins. Okay? All we believe that. As Sinhalese, we believe that. In Sinhala, in most ancient text written in Sinhalese language in 10th century AD has clearly interpreted that Magadhi language is the Buddha's mother tongue in our old language. Magada basin vetemin a budukeli atua heladiu ejuru helabasin tebu. This is the statement in the Sinhalese text. Therefore, it is strong belief of us. Magadhi language is the Buddha's mother tongue. This identification first appears in the commentaries, as I noted, as I highlighted here, and many have been attempted by Buddhists to associate themselves more closely with the Mauryans. Actually, this can be the reason for that, to associate more closely with the Mauryans. Mauryans are the pioneers of Indian history. Sometime our tradition took place this statement in the commentaries. It is controversial, but we can think about that also. And this is our traditional belief. While we are believing this, we can see some modern interpretations on the Pali language. T.W. Rhys Davids in his book Buddhist India and Wilhelm Geiger in his book Pali Language and Literature suggested that Pali may have originated as a form of lingua franca or common language of culture among people who used differing dialects in North India, used at the time of the Buddha and employed by him. These are some suggestions of these two scholars. As we know, Wilhelm Geiger is the foremost person who studied Pali in Sri Lanka in 20th century and returned back to England and established well-known Pali Text Society in London in 1881. And Wilhelm Geiger is a German scholar, as we know, who has studied Sinhalese language and Pali language, and who has provided two grammatical books on Sinhalese language and Pali language. He is a linguist. These two linguists has pointed out that Pali may have originated as a form of lingua franca. Lingua franca means a communication language. At present also, we communicate in Pali language. We can communicate in Pali language in Myanmar, in Cambodia, in Thailand. At present also, I met one Mahathera in Myanmar, in Sun State, in Veluwana Monastery, who passed away 2 years ago. He is the teacher of Most Venerable Professor Dr. Kamai Dhammasamy. He cannot speak English. He communicated with me in Pali language when I was there 2-3 times. Therefore, Pali is still used as a lingua franca or communication language or common language. As when Most Venerable Professor Dr. Rahul highlighted in his speech, one of Sri Lankan king has sent a letter to Myanmar king in Pali language. Pali was the lingua franca at that time, common language of our Buddhist countries, it means. And another scholar states that at that time it was a refined and elegant vernacular of all Aryan speaking people. It means actually we have language history. We have Aryan languages. Fortunately, our mother tongue, Sinhalese language, belong to Aryan group. And your mother tongue belong to Sino-Tibetan group of languages, but not to Aryan group. That is why we are speaking Pali fluently. Pali and our mother tongue belong to same Aryan group. We have all words in our vocabulary taken from Sanskrit or Pali language. Therefore, we are very familiar with the Pali language. The reason is we all belong to one group historically. But regarding your mother tongue, you cannot pronounce Pali words more clearly since your mother tongue belongs to another group of language family. That is the main reason of our different pronunciations of Pali words. And according to K.R. Norman, I am sorry, this should be K.R. Norman, not K.E. Norman. Okay? K.R. Norman is a great Pali scholar from England who is still alive. It is likely that the viharas in North India had separate collections of material preserved in the local dialect. In the early period, it is likely that no degree of translation was necessary in communicating this material to another areas. He believed that actually Pali is a language of ancient text, according to K.R. Norman. Then, according to Bhikkhu Bodhi, who has been translated many Pali Nikayas into English language, summarizing the current state of scholarships, states that the language is, it is Pali language is closely related to the language that the Buddha himself spoke. It is actually our traditional belief. Venerable Bhikkhu Bodhi ordained in Sri Lanka and trained in Myanmar more than 10-12 years, as I heard. Therefore, he is a traditional Theravadian monk. He believes that Pali is closely related to the Buddha's mother tongue. Therefore, with this background, we can understand what Pali language is. There are some different ideas regarding Pali language, traditionally and scholarly. With this background, actually, I would like to move to this discussion, mainly based on Pali studies. Today, Pali is studied mainly to gain access to Buddhist scriptures and is frequently chanted in a ritual context. This statement clearly shows we have two purposes in Pali studying. The first one is accessing to the Buddhist scriptures. The other one is practicing the Buddhist tradition. To practice Buddhist tradition, we need Pali language. As Buddha's disciples, we need to perform ritualistic performances, to chant parittas, to preach the Dhamma, to perform Vinaya Kammas, to practice Vinaya lively, we need Pali language. Therefore, we have two main purposes of studying Pali. The secular literature of Pali, historical chronicles, medical texts, and inscriptions is also of great historical information, importance. Other than these religious purposes, we need Pali language to study history. As Most Venerable Professor Rahula Thera stated in his great speech, the history of Sri Lanka has recorded in Pali language for the first time in the 4th century AD. The first chronicle is Deepavansa. In the 5th century AD, the great chronicle of Sri Lankans, which is the Mahavansa. These are actually historical texts in regarding Myanmar, regarding your motherland. Jinakala Malini is a historical text belong to Myanmar, and Sasana Vangsa, which has recorded the whole history of Myanmar. I have been selected one portion of the Sasana Vangsa for our prescribed text in my university also, to understand Myanmar Buddhist history. And we have medical texts such as Besajja Manjusa. Besajja Manjusa is a medical text, and some other inscriptions. We saw the Kalyani inscriptions in Bago 2-3 days ago. Kalyani inscriptions is a Pali historical inscription. We also have some historical Pali inscriptions in Sri Lanka. And Most Venerable stated that the Mahanagakula Sandesa, which shows historical connections in between our two countries. It is a Sandesa, a message sent from Sri Lanka to Myanmar by verses. These are actually secular subjects belong to Pali language. The great centers of Pali learning remain in the Theravada nations of Southeast Asia. We belong to Sri Lanka. We are very proud about that. You belong to Myanmar. You are also very proud about that. We both preserve Pali language. It was inspiring for all members headed by Most Venerable Dr. Professor Rahula, by seeing the Tipitaka Sayadaw, Most Venerable Gandamala Alankara yesterday. Actually, we were highly impressed by him regarding his eminent scholarship on Pali language. He was the Tipitaka, he is a Tipitaka Dhara and Tipitaka Kovida. He has passed oral examination of the Tipitaka and written examination on the Tipitaka. Very proud about that. We highly appreciate your great effort to preserve the Pali tradition in your country. With this background, actually, now I will explain how Sri Lankan universities now study Pali language. As I mentioned, we have some state and other universities which where we offer Pali language as major degree program. In the university system, Pali is interpreted in academic point of view, not in traditional point of view. Therefore, Pali is identified in this way in university system in our country. Pali is a Middle Indo-Aryan language and is the language which the scriptures of early Buddhism as well as the scriptures, commentaries, sub-commentaries, chronicles, law books and devotional texts of the Theravada Buddhism have been preserved to this day. In this large point of view, we study Pali language. We don't have only a traditional view regarding Pali language in university education system. It has broadened to another areas also. Pali is a language and also it has a vast literature belong to canonical and non-canonical literature. We can divide the Pali literature into two, canonical literature and non-canonical literature. Canonical literature means the Tipitaka, non-canonical literature means post-canonical texts, commentaries, sub-commentaries, grammatical texts and so on. All the other literature belong to non-canonical part. Hence, the departments where Pali is offered as a special degree subject concentrate on the study of history, content, grammar, translation, interpretation and literary value of these texts. These are the some areas that we focus in our study programs. The first one is history. History of Pali language, history of Pali literature both. Then content. Content of the Tipitaka, commentaries, tikas and other texts belong to Pali literature. And grammar. Especially grammar is studied in different point of view. I will explain later when I discuss about the core of Pali programs or core of curriculars of Pali programs in our universities. And translations. Actually, we cover the whole Tipitaka and the commentaries and other main texts written in Pali by translating. We select some major text to translate as prescribed text, and we will provide traditional and modern interpretations on the text. And finally, we focus to literary value of the text also. Literary and philosophical and historical values of the text. Next, I would like to pay your attention to the core of Pali curriculum of our universities. This is the scope of core of Pali curriculum. Introduction to Pali studies, importance, tools, facilities, places, books, etc. We introduce the importance of Pali studying. Why one student should study Pali language? What is the importance of that? We have two major importance actually, as we noted earlier also. To interpret the Buddha Dhamma, to access the Buddhist sources, and to practice the Buddhist tradition, we need Pali language as Buddha's followers. And basic Pali grammar, historical Pali grammar, and traditional Pali grammar. You see, there are three levels. Basic Pali grammar. For the basic level, we only teach some basic principles of Pali grammar. For that, in the diploma level or in the certificate level, we use Most Venerable Polatte Buddhadatta Thera's new Pali course, as you also use. I saw those volumes, volume 1, volume 2 and others in your information center also in this morning before our lunch. Then you also using that book as a primary book of basic Pali grammar. And historical Pali grammar, we teach Pali as a historical language. For that, we use linguistic methods. For example, how Pali alphabet changed from Old Indo-Aryan period to Middle Indo-Aryan period. Because Pali is belong to Middle Indo-Aryan period, as I said earlier also. Before Middle Indo-Aryan languages, there were Old Indo-Aryan languages. Therefore, how Pali alphabet has been derived or evolved from Old Indo-Aryan period to Middle Indo-Aryan period. For example, in the Old Indo-Aryan period, there were some vowels in Old Indo-Aryan language: iru, iru, ilu, ilu, I, au, and also aspiration or the visarga. Those are not available in the Pali language, but they have derived from Old Indo-Aryan period to Middle Indo-Aryan period. For example, the visarga or the aspiration has derived in two ways. I and au has evolved as A and O. Likewise, we teach historical evolution of Pali language. It is historical Pali grammar. For that, we use linguistic methods such as anaptesics, then similarity, dissimilarity, assimilation, disassimilation, like that. And traditional Pali grammar, to teach traditional Pali grammar, we use Kaccayana's grammar. For the beginning level, Balavatara is used. In the intermediate level, we use the Rupa Siddhi, and the final stage, we use the Kaccayana's grammar, which is very popular in Myanmar also. Therefore, we teach Pali grammar in three levels: basic level, then the historical Pali grammar, and the traditional Pali grammar. And then reading from the Vinaya Sutta and Abhidhamma Pitakas. And Pali composition. Pali composition means actually practice of Pali composition both in prose and verse. We teach to compose Pali prose and verses also. Then study of Pali canon, it means actually not reading the Pali canon, reading and translation. Studying Pali canon means studying the content of the Pali grammar with special focuses, with special, for example, regarding the early Buddhist teachings, like Paticca Samuppada, Kamma, and 37-fold Bodhipakkhya Dhammas. To highlight these early teachings, we study the Pali Canon thoroughly. Then the commentaries and sub-commentaries. Mainly, we study Vinaya commentary, the introduction of the Vinaya commentary and the introduction of the Abhidhamma commentary, mainly to highlight the history of Buddhism, where these clearly interpreted by Venerable Buddhaghosa. Then the Pali chronicles such as Deepavansa and Mahavansa up to the Sasana Vansa of your country. Recently, after the 30 years of war in Sri Lanka, one Venerable composed a Pali commentary as Mahinda Vanso. This tradition is still alive tradition, chronicle tradition in Sri Lanka. And manuscripts and their editing. This is a special area of our study programs. It means we have preserved manuscripts written in Sinhalese scripts. You have your manuscripts written in, I think, at least 2 main characters. In early period, in Mon characters. In later period, in Burmese characters. We teach the methods of editing Pali text, how to edit a historical manuscript that we have been already preserved in our tradition. In Sri Lanka, we have many manuscripts written in early days. Then we practice our students of editing Pali text. We use S.M. Kattre's introduction to textual criticism as a guidebook for this. Then modern Pali scholars and their works. In this modern period, we have modern scholars of Pali tradition. For example, most venerable Sangha Mahanayaka Thera, who is Kumarabi Vansa Mahathera, has written a commentary on Apadana theories, Theri Apadana commentary. We follow this tradition in Sri Lanka also. I wrote a commentary in 2016. It is Dasa Bodhisattupatti Katha Attakatha. The commentary on 10 future Bodhisattvas. The tradition still continues. Recently, one venerable wrote Chula Data Vansa, the continuous the second part of the Data Vansa, which was written in 12th century. The main Data Vansa was written in 12th century. The Chula Data Vansa was written 2 years ago by a Sri Lankan monk. Then still we continue the tradition. We both continue. Then we pay our attention to modern Pali scholars and their works in our curricula. And Buddhist meditation. In our curriculum, we practice our students in meditation also based on Visuddhimagga tradition in our curriculums. These are the core of our curriculum. This is the scope. These are the limitations. And this is the system of organizing our syllabuses. Then, these are the subject aims of our programs. Study of Pali aimed at producing scholars who could conduct research on various aspects of Theravada Buddhism. We produce our students who could conduct research in various areas regarding the Theravada Buddhism. It can be meditation, it can be Pali grammar or Pali history or Pali literature or Pali text editing or translation, whatever. Then translate grammatically Pali canonical, post-canonical and commentarial and other Pali works into Sinhala or into English. You also provide your students for these purposes. Write Pali essays and compose Pali Gathas. This is one main area of our aims. And write, edit Pali manuscripts or text, or then prepare Pali curricula for both Piriven education and Dhamma education. We have Piriven education for novices and early monks. Then we produce our students who could prepare Pali curricula for them. And also we have Dhamma schools which take place in Sundays, on Sundays. Then students can prepare curricula for Dhamma school students also. Then teach Pali Pirivena or schools or Dhamma schools. Then teach Pali in the Oriental study curriculum of Sri Lanka. We have one organization which is Oriental Studies Society of Sri Lanka, an old age society of Sri Lanka. Then the students who continue the Pali major degree programs could teach Pali for that curricula also. Then pursue postgraduate studies locally and abroad. Actually, when we visited Theravada, International Theravada Buddhist Missionary University, there were some Sri Lankan monks who has completed their degrees in Sri Lankan universities and came to here to learn more traditional Pali at that institute. This is one of main purpose of our study programs. Now, this is my final explanation regarding the subject knowledge and understanding that students can achieve after completion of their degree programs. The scholars of Pali studies should be knowledgeable on Pali language and be able to read and understand the Pali text. This is the main achievement after completion of this degree program, and should know Pali, should know the language, content, and literary value of Tipitaka and its commentaries. When the most venerables highlighted that at present in Sri Lanka, wrong tradition is rising regarding the misinterpretations on the Tipitaka. Then to avoid these kind of misinterpretations on the Tipitaka and the commentaries, actually we provide our students who could interpret the Tipitaka correctly, mainly based on the commentarial interpretations. Then should know the traditional, historical, analytical and linguistic Pali grammar. After completion of Pali major degree programs, students should know traditional Pali grammar, then historical Pali grammar, analytical Pali grammar and linguistic Pali grammar. In 4 ways students should know Pali grammar. Then they should be able to read and understand both prescribed and unprescribed Pali texts. After completing Pali major degree, his students should be able to understand unseen text also. Whatever text that they have not studied, they should be able to understand those texts also. Then should be familiar with the fundamentals of Buddhist teachings embodied in the Pali canon. Then be familiar with the religious and philosophical background of Buddhism. Then know the origin and evolution of Buddhist Vinaya and monastic life also. When we teach, actually we highly emphasize Vinaya studies in the curriculum regarding the Tipitaka studies, then be knowledgeable on the origin, spread and methods of Theravada Abhidhamma, then be knowledgeable on the origin, history, development, institutions, scriptures and doctrines of Theravada Buddhism, be knowledgeable on Sanskrit language and Buddhist sources in Sanskrit. Actually, we select some Buddhist Sanskrit text also in our curricula. For example, some Vinaya text from other Buddhist traditions, from Sarvastivada, from Mahasangika, for example, Pratimoksha Sutra from the Mahasangika tradition, then the Lokottara Mula Sarvastivadi Pratimoksha is studied in our curriculum. Then be knowledgeable on the history and the doctrines of early Buddhist philosophical schools, both Hinayana and Mahayana. We study Yogachara and Madhyamika traditions to understand the gradual development of philosophy in Buddhism and similarities and differences between Theravada and non-Theravada traditions and their relation to early Buddhism. For example, we study Mula Madhyamika Karika to understand the historical development of Paticca Samuppada and the Sunyata tradition, and to understand the historical relation to Madhyamika tradition with the early Buddhism, and know some basic Middle Indo-Aryan languages. We teach Prakuta Prakasha by Vararuchi to understand Prakrit grammar, because we need Prakrit grammar to understand Pali language clearly. I will show you one example. In Mittani Sansa Sutta, there is a line, Nigrodha miva maluto. Nigrodha miva maluto. The last word is maluto. In Pali language, we cannot see that kind of word. Maluto. It has derived from maruto. Maruto means by the wind. By the wind. R has changed into L historically in Prakrit languages. To understand this historical evolution of Pali language, we need some amount of Prakrit grammar also. Therefore, we teach Prakrit grammar by using Prakuta Prakasha of Vararuchi in our Pali study programs. Then students, after completion of their degree programs, should be able to do these all things. These are the intended learning outcomes of our degree programs. Now I come to conclusion. I do not conclude anything. You all can conclude the things that I have noted here regarding the scope, aims and the intended learning outcomes of our degree programs in Sri Lankan universities. If you have any questions, let me know. Now I conclude my my lecture. I highly appreciate the task that you have taken to promote Buddhism in the world by providing these kind of facilities to Buddhist students, especially for monks and these Silavatīs, to promote Buddhism in the world. I again and again appreciate most venerable Dr. Abhidaja Maharattaguru Asiññānisara's effort that he has taken for the betterment of Buddhism in this world. May the most venerable live long, may you live long, for the betterment of this world. Thank you very much by listening to me.
Thank you very much, Venerable. You are giving us a lot of knowledge on the code of Pali curriculums. Thank you very much. Now, according to agendas, item number 7 and item number 5 is time for a question and answer session.
Hello. Thank you, Venerable sir. I am a student. Your lecture gave me many knowledge. Now, I want to ask a question. Some Hayana scholars agree that from Theravada Pali, Priwara, Mahanedit, Pritambira Mega Mahanedita, and Jarga are no Buddha Vasanas. How could we figure out that their agreement was wrong source? I want to know. Lisa.
So not clear. So what would you like to know? Huh?
Names of those texts, it is not clear.
And the names of those texts. I found them Priwara is something. Prisambhita Mega is another thing. Jataka. And so the three texts are not Buddha Vachana.
The question was on the Parivara, Patisambhida Magga, and the Jataka. As she asked, some Mahayana scholars reject these texts as Theravada text. But as recorded in the commentaries, all these texts belong to Theravada tradition. Parivara is the last compilation of the Vinaya Pitaka. It is something like a compilation of the other 4 books of the Vinaya Pitaka. It is a complementary work on the 4 main Vinaya texts. It has concluded all the matters discussed in other Vinaya texts. That is why these scholars keep away Parivara from the early text. But traditionally we believe that Parivara is belong to Theravada tradition. Venerable Buddhaghosa, by explaining the Vinaya Pitaka, says that there are 3 parts of the Vinaya Pitaka. The Sutta Vibhanga, then the Khandaka, and the Parivara. Sutta Vibhanga belong to another text, Parajika Pali and Pachitya Pali. Khandakas have 2 another, Mahavagga and Chullavagga. Parivara is a separate section of the Tipitaka, as Buddhaghosa, Venerable Buddhaghosa noted in the 5th century. Then at least in the 5th century, Parivara is considered as a Tipitaka text. Okay? Then regarding the Patisambhida Magga is a Kuddaka text in the Kuddaka Nikaya. It is also called Kuddaka Gantha. Some Mahayana scholars or some scholars have pointed out that Patisambhida Magga consists of Abhidhamma matters highly. Therefore, they put the Patisambhida Magga as a separate text belong to Abhidhamma Pitaka. This is the thing. And regarding the Jataka, Jatakas are the previous birth stories of the Buddha. Actually, some scholars don't have a clear idea on the Jataka Pali and the Jataka commentary. They take Jataka in same sense. We have two parts of Jatakas. It is Jataka Pali. Jataka Pali has verses. But in the Jataka commentary, all the verses have been interpreted with stories. Some scholars understand Jataka as Jataka commentary. That is why they reject the Jataka from the Tipitaka. Because Jataka commentary has some stories regarding the previous lives of the Buddha. But the Jataka Pali only verses which has some links to the stories. This is the thing I think, this is the reason for the rejection of these three texts by the Mahayana scholars.
Another question.
Good afternoon, Professor. My name is Kisasani. I'm a student here in Singhu Buddhist Academy, Mandalay. I have two questions. The first question is to Professor Rahula, and the second question is to Professor Wisitadama. So my first question is, are there any differences among Sri Lanka, Sangha, Nikaya? This is the first question. And then the second question. And the second is not a purely question, but is referred to Professor Wisitadama. Could you speak of inspirations of words or singles in Pali for the inspirations of our Pali learner students? This is request to you.
Actually, I mentioned about three Nikayas in Sri Lanka. First one is Siam Nikaya, Siam Mahanikaya. Second one is Amarapura, and third one is Ramanya. As Buddhist monks in Sri Lanka, we have not any big differences. Actually, we are following same Tripitaka. We have not any difference Tripitakas or anything. And also, we are following same Patimokkha. Normally same traditions of Patimokkha. But we have some small differences because the main traditions. For example, Siam monks, Siam Nikaya monks, as me, we are covering only one shoulder. Normally we are using the yellow, orange color robes. Who from Myanmar, the Amarapura Sangha, they are using same color. And Ramanya Sangha also. And also they are covering both shoulders. Like that. Not any big differences. Sometimes Siam Nikaya's monks also using the same color robes. Sometimes Amarapura Sangha also using these colors. But mainly they are following small different traditions, but not big problem with anybody's as Sri Lankan monks. Thank you.
For me, the more clarifications on the two verses that I recited. Huh? Yes, actually, I composed these two verses while I am sitting here when Most Venerable Thera was having his lecture. The verses on the Mandale Sitagu, the first line, Jnanissarena yatina sitaguti jnata yankasi sogata janana pasada nattang tang mandale sitagunama mahaggatanang jaletu dhamma vinayang sugatassa tassa. The meaning, you need the meaning or what? Yes. Meaning. The meaning is the Mandale Sitagu established by Most Venerable Jnanissara Thera for the advantage of Buddhists may provide the Dhamma and Vinaya preached by the Buddha for a long period of time. And the next one, Buddhassa Dhamma Vinayang Ihaloka Visaye Sampadako Kusala Lakkana Yutta Sisse So Mandale Sitagu Nama Yatina Vaso Jnanena Cheva Yasasacha Sada Vibhatu. The Mandale Sitagu, which is a residence for many monks, which provides skillful students for the betterment of this world, may develop by the knowledge and by the glory. This is the meaning of these two verses.
We have studied Pali grammar for many years in Myanmar. A lot of grammar words in Myanmar. Big body here study 2 years. He studied 2 years from Anana Vidya in Sri Lanka. How many years do we need for Pali grammar?
Actually, it is very difficult questions to answer. The grammar is very important. There is a saying that yo nirutting na janati pitakattayang pade pade vikankeya vani anda gajoviya. If someone knows the whole Tipitaka without grammatical knowledge, he cannot go ahead with the words of the Tipitaka. He laps like a blind elephant in the forest who doesn't know Pali grammar well when he study the Tipitaka. Therefore, it is essential Pali grammar in our studies. But I cannot say directly this kind of period is enough for Pali grammar. but we need some basic Pali grammar first. I recommend one book for that. It is Pali Premier by Professor Lilith Silva, one of the eminent Pali lady scholar at Peradeniya University, and who was a great teacher of our most venerable Pali Premier. It has explained gradually Pali grammar. Actually, we should not use our traditional grammar books like Balavatara or Kachayana in the beginning level. These are more advanced. For the beginners, actually it is better to use Pali Premier. For example, in Pali, in that book, cases are gradually explained and stems are gradually explained. Therefore, we need a gradual system to study Pali language. Then we should use traditional Pali grammar books for advanced studies. Yes, actually you also use Venerable Polwatte Buddhadatta Thera's Pali New Course. Pali New Course is also a better Pali grammar book in this modern era. In this modern era, we are busy with many things. We are in the technology always. Therefore, we need some proper ways to learn Pali. I think we have to move from the tradition to the modern systems when we study Pali. If we can understand Pali, especially cases from both nouns and verbs, it is very easy to study Pali language. From Pali Premier and Pali New Course, we can gain this knowledge easily without spending much more time. Within 5-6 months, we can gain the whole basic knowledge on the Pali language through these new books. Then we can go ahead to the traditional Pali books with the background. Without background, it is not useful as far as I understood.
One more last question.
Good afternoon, sir. Thank you for giving the special talk to us. My question is to Dr. Wajida Dhamma. My question is to the Honorable Wajida Dhamma regarding with Pali grammar. In our Sangha society, especially among the young Buddhist monks, I think, when we perform Buddhist ordination from inside the ordination hall. Can you ask without the mic? Sorry. My question is to Honorable Wajida Dhamma regarding with Pali grammar. You have already mentioned in your topic, in your lecture, maybe 2 or 3 times. Pali language is very important to us to practice Buddhist teaching and also to follow the Buddhist teaching. But in our Sangha society, especially among the Burmese Buddhist monk, young Buddhist monk. When we perform Buddhist ordination ceremony inside the Buddhist ordination hall, whether we can follow pronunciation and or meaning. Without understanding the meaning of the words, the novice cannot be monk. So, how do you think of this agreement? What do you follow? What do you choose among these meaning and pronunciation? So, how do you think of the problem, and how can we accept the problem?
The question is on the ordination. He is asking, in the ordination we use some Pali statements. Without knowing the meaning, how can complete or how can fulfill the ordination of the novice? Is this the question?
Yes.
Regarding the religions, actually, every religion has its own sacred language. For Buddhist, Pali language. For Christians, Latin language. For Muslims, they are Arabic language. These are holy languages. To perform religious activities, all the religious people use some kind of holy statements. It is a tradition, actually. We cannot say that the ordination is not taken place without knowing the meanings of the Pali statements that we use in the ordination ceremony. It is it is a form of a ritual. Without rituals, we cannot survive as religious peoples. To survive in the religion, we need these ritualistic performances. To perform these things, we need a holy language. It is not a problem that knowing or unknowing or this language to the performances. Only thing is correctly using in our ordination and higher ordination ceremonies. It is indeed what is a clear pronunciation of the Kamma Vachas. If we rightly pronounce Kamma Vachas, it is okay. If we miss some pronunciations as stated by Most Venerable Buddhaghosa in the Samantapasadika, 10 Vyanjanas, Sitila, Dhanita, Diga, Rasa, Garuka, Lahuka, Sambandha, Vivattita, like that. Okay, if we miss these 10 Vyanjanas in Kamma Vachas, the Vinayic act does not complete. To get the completion of the Vinayic act, we need a clear pronunciation of the Kamma Vachas. It is not a problem, the knowing or unknowing the Kamma Vachas. The main thing is performing the Vinaya Kamma correctly. It has not highlighted the meaning, understanding the meaning of the Kammavachas in our tradition. Only we need clear pronunciation of the Kammavachas. That is the thing. But in your tradition, as I heard, and as Venerable Jnana Tusita written in his introduction to Patimokka, you use your own language in performing Apatti Desanas. Is it? Huh? Pali or Burmese? Pali. Ah, good.
We are using Pali language very well, especially for Kammavachas. Yeah, the beginning step of the before monkhood, at that time ordination ceremony, they are using Sabba Dukkha Nissarana Nibbana Satchikaranatthaya Imang Kāsāvanga Hetva Pabbajjang Deta Me Bhante Dutiyampi Tatiyam.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, most venerable our guest speaker. I don't have any question, but I have very small request, because I have had a lot speaking in Pali several times, but our students, be listening to you about what you are speaking in Pali. So could you please speak Pali a little bit for our
Yeah. We are expecting that you are going to speak in Pali language, and even they are preparing to ask questions in Pali. So this is a rare opportunity.
Vandami Bante. Badhanta yasmanta teranu tera navaka majjima mamuka sangdadantu bho silavatiyo picha gihi yodata vasana ghatta pabbajita picha mayang sabbe et sammilita bhavama imasmin mandale sitagunama ajhapana ayatane patigaccheva mayang angali bhasaya sallapita bhavama atopi Dhammasaro Pandito Bhikkhu Ayachito Palibhasaya Tokang Sallapitung Ahampi Palibhasaya Aduniko Eva Apitu Yankinchi Vattu Michami Bo Ayasmanta Palina Mesa Bhasa Amhakang Pitussa Bhasa Natu Mamedang Vachanang Etang Vachanang Pana Tumhakang Sangha Mahanayakatte Rasa Vachanang Yada Mayang Tang Sangha Mahanayakatte Rang Apassimha Yangunnama Nagare So Mahatero Eva Mavadi Pali Nama Esa Basa Amhakang Pitussa Basati Sabbe Mayang Evang Janama Amhakang Matu Basa Attiti Sihela Bhikkhu Samana Mayang Sihela Basa Amhakang Matu Basati Voharama Maramma Bhikkhu Samana Tumhe Sabbe Tumhakang Maramma Basa Tumhakang Matu Basati Sallakkenti Apitu Pali Nama Esa Bhasa Sabbe Sang Amhakang Pituno Basa Hoti Amhakang Pita Apana Bhagava Arahang Samma Sambuddho Sabbe Mayang Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa Savaka Bhavama Tasma Mayang Sabbe Amhakang Pituno Basa Ugganhi Tabba Bhavanti Yadimayang Pali Basang උගන්හාම මයං සබ්බේ තස්ස පිතුනෝ ධම්මං යථාකාරේන ජානිතුං සක්කුනිස්සාම ඉදං පන පමානං සබ්බේ සත්තා සුඛිතත්තා භවන්තු.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. A set of rules. Then most venerable the Professor Kopita Kota Piti Yera Ular is going to give the present to our most venerable. Then most venerable Professor Wisita Dhammas are invited to receive letter of recognitions. Which are presented. Okay, and others, according to agendas, item number 9, Dr. Dhammasaro's Abodothines. Accordingly, Dr. Dhammasara, you are kindly requested to propose Abodothines.
Most Venerable Professor Rahul Athira, with Venerable Professor Vijita Dhamma, Member of the Sanghas, the Principal of Sri Buddhist Academy Mandalay, faculty members, students, distinguished guests, and lay devotee from Sri Lanka, Mingalawa. For Sri Lanka, Ayubowan. Before I propose my vote of thanks, I also like to recite one Pali stanza. This stanza was written just after Professor Vijitadhamma mentioned that he wrote stanza while the Mahathira was given the speech. His stanza was very inspiring, very wonderful. So as soon as I heard his stanza, I also want to compose one Pali stanza. It's a small one. I will recite first, and then I will ask all of you to repeat after me. So you can bring back your home. So, Linga Dipe Mahathira, Tatama Tandi Palaka, Twagatan Ida Tomakan, Tukino Hota Tabara. It's very simple. So I will speak again. Can you recite in room? Okay. Linga Dipe Mahathira, Satama Tanti Palaka, Swagadan Ida Tomakan, Sukhino Hota Savata. So I will ask my friends, my students to repeat after me. Linga Dipe Mahathira, Tatama Tanti Palaka, Twagadan Ida Tomakan, Sukhino Hota Sabata. I think everybody understands this stanza. So I will not explain in detail. So this is one small present for our Sri Lanka delegation. Today is very special occasion here in Thirugu Buddhist Academy. Every year we host distinguished guests from various countries, the West, the East, especially from Sri Lanka, for academic talk in this academy. When we talk about the Sri Lanka, there are strong relationship between Sri Lanka and Myanmar. Especially in the Buddha Sasana sector, we can see deep and Dhamma relationship between two countries. When we talk about Dhamma relationship, we can talk about Dhamma education, we call Priyati. This is formally called Priyati, now modern education or higher education or something like this. When we talk about the Dhamma education or Priyati, in two countries, we can see pedagogy-based learning system is well established from basic level to higher level. We can see very clearly. Throughout the history of Buddhism, we already had our guest speaker, most venerable Professor Rahula mentioned very long and detailed and insightful lecture on the history of Buddhism in Sri Lanka. We see the development and decline and opportunity and challenges in two countries, Sri Lanka as well and Myanmar as well. Even in modern time, we encounter the call of changes with positive and negative impact. We cannot ignore. But despite all destructive forces, it is pleasure to see the collaboration between Sri Lanka and Myanmar for the sustainable development in every sector, especially in higher education level, we call the Priyati education. So today we are very delighted and honored to organize the special talk program to implement the collaborative work for, we call Sarma Sira Titika. After we listen carefully Dhamma from most venerable Professor Rahula and Professor Vijita Dhamma, we see the significant nature of the history of Buddhism in Sri Lanka from grassroots level to higher level. And then the significant nature and the importance of Pali learning system in Sri Lanka University in higher education level. Therefore, I would like to express my sincere thanks to our distinguished speaker for giving excellent, insightful, talk. We are all inspired by your great speech. We also wish to express gratitude to our Principal CRO and faculty members for providing guidance and encouragement to make this occasion happen. A big thanks to our faculty members, staff members for their assistance and effort. Without them, I think it's also not possible to make this one happen. And I'm also very grateful to the students for their participation. Now this is the summer break. I know free time is not easy to come to the university regularly, but you came here and you participate. We are very grateful for that. I hope you also will get very good benefit from this lecture and talk. And Sri Lanka delegation, the member of the Sangha and lay devotee from the Sri Lanka, we are also happy to see you, and it's great pleasure to host here. If any inconvenience, we would like to say a little bit sorry for them. I hope we can see again and again next time. And then once again, I would like to state that we are all most grateful to our distinguished speaker and special guest from the Sri Lanka and home as well. And we thank you for visiting here, for giving the lecture, and for participating, and for being with us this afternoon. It has been great honor, and it has been great pleasure. So I will conclude in one sentence. Let me recite this one. Bahuma Stuti. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Damasaros, for proposing a vote of thanks. Now we have for a definition 9 items. We have only 2 more items. According to agenda's item number 10 is to close our ceremony by reciting Sitagu resolution. Ngaro Pia Iloga we Boa Damai Mayai Ziyan Seiman Macha Mana Maba Do Swaya Pin Do Dadana Do Biwago Taya Zemu Long La Buan Sadu Sadu Sadu. The time is coming for group photo. So thank you very much everyone for cooperating and participation. We can run our program very smoothly. Thank you very much.